only on esportbf.com.
I don't know. I can't make any predictions here because my previous experience is just thrown out with that Artie track. Like, it's just, to me, it's just changing things up so much. It kind of explains why ESF did the different drop too at the start. They put more of a heavy presence on that ground game, and I don't know. Yeah.
Right now, both transports are going to be going at each other. Not seeing anybody dropping out of them just yet, so they are going for ground drops. It looks like, well, there we go. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. So we got the root control coming in onto the Charlie side of the map, but immediately we do see ESF able to get control of that Bravo. Where is the tank going to be coming in? I'm curious where Bink is going to be playing right now. Does he? Yeah, okay, so we do have a flank coming in from Incarnate. No C4 on the Jeep that I can tell so far.
At this point in the game, it's a little too early for that. I'd imagine he's probably just getting in position for back capping.
Man, if he did have C4, I think he could actually make some plays here. Take a look at this. He's getting pinched
I think he was
Bink.
spotted.
Well, he's getting pinched from Bink, and we do see Incarnate now inside the bunker. APS has been popped, and we are going to be seeing the tank. Did the tank go down? The tank went down. So Symthic right now has a huge advantage with the armor. Incarnate coming all the way into the backside. He gets at least 2 straws off. That's going to be huge. We'll see if they can actually capitalize on it. But, you know, if they can get a quick 3 cap going down right now, it's not out of the realm of possibility for them to make this a very close game.
Yeah, agreed.
So we do see Steve with a lot of slams. Oh, I love this positioning here of the slams. Just in case that tank does end up going by it, it will do quite a bit of damage. Thunder is going to be back here onto Delta as well. And he does spot out at least one of the players trying to defend. And can he get the frags on him? He does, taking down Cherokee. Nobody back there in terms of infantry in order to do anything at all. Steve is chasing down the tank as well. So we'll see if they can win it. But as immediately as we were talking about that, we do see him losing control of the middle of the map. It just looks like right now that they just don't have the infantry presence that ESF does for the center fights.
Yeah, they're spread too thin. They've got 2 players over on Alpha, 2 players over on Delta. They just it leaves them 6 for the middle, and ESF's just going to put a majority of their players in the middle now too.
So we are going to be seeing Symthic at the moment able to get control of A, B, and D. And they will start to get that burn going down into their favor.
I just witnessed something completely. I have no idea how that just happened. From CFC's perspective, he had slams down on the Alpha flag, and the ATV drove over it, blew up the slams, and didn't die. Like, what? That's some Battlefield right there.
It's CFC voodoo. It's CFC voodoo. So right now we are going to be seeing a trade coming out. Bravo for Charlie. And ESF is going to try and go ahead and win out in the fight. They are going to be able to cancel this out 2-2 burn as they do attack A as well. And Symthic is doing a decent job, a better job, getting control of those roofs. But really, like we said before, the big thing is making sure that they can actually get into the flags themselves. And now
they came out swinging this time, but it's just too little too late at this point. I think 256 was the ticket count before, right?
Yeah, it was, no, I think it was in the 230s. It was definitely in the 230s. Yeah, it was in 230s. Okay. But right now, Cherokee is going to be up on top of S Alpha's site. They are going to be winning out on the battle. Really what it's going to come down to is just this war of attrition. You know, they're getting these 3 caps. They're starting to get the burn in their favor, but just death. They're just dying over and over and over again. And as
they'd have to get a 4 cap.
Oh, beautiful shots there. As Bagraz able to pick up 2 kills, make it a 3rd. Yes, nope. His teammate did come in here, but he gets the 91 assist. So that has definitely got to feel good there. But we do see Nooch now sitting up on top. He's going to be able to get some massive team spawns off, but he does see some players coming in from Smash. Will end up going down. Now we are going to be seeing, oh no, Cherokee fumbles with the defibrillators. And that could have been a saving grace there, but unfortunately it looks like they will be getting completely cleaned up. There's the 3 cap coming in. And yeah, I think that after that flurry of a start, we are going to be seeing ESF taking the win here in this 3rd match. You do see CFC doing some damage there to the tank, able to get it down about 50 health. And he will be able to get the kill on it as well, so no armor is going to be coming in here. But again, we are down 246 to 238. I think that is going to be GG's for them. And really, I mean, it's just really surprising to see. I realize that, you know, the artillery may have thrown in a little bit of a wrench. I don't think it throws in as big of a wrench as a 238, you know, loss. But I do think that Symthic just couldn't really bounce back. I think they were put on the back foot, and they never really could collect themselves to make a really decent push coming back into it. So, yeah, this
I may have given too much credit to it, but I think ESF's starting strategy, instead of focusing on getting that roof control, really threw them for a number 2. Like, not trying to take anything away from ESF. Like that opening, I think, is what actually won it. Like, that was a great opening.
Yeah.
Just
from
doing something
there,
different to.
Well, you know, from there, it basically just it threw them off of their timings. Like, it felt like they didn't know where they were supposed to go in for these fights. Like, they were expecting all these fights to happen, you know, on top of the roof. It didn't happen. They're like, why is your transport backing off? What's going on? And I think it just kind of threw off their initial timings for everything, and they just getting back into that rhythm just never really happened for round number 2. I mean, this one right here, you know, is looking much, much better, more competitive round as it is. And I think if we saw Symthic, you know, coming out like this, even though that they are in a losing state right now, we would have seen a much, much closer game. But man, I gotta tell you, we were just seeing all kinds of surprises and some good plays coming out overall. Rubicon really shaking things up here this morning. Didn't know who those guys were, but they are just dominating right now. And then, of course, pretty decent first match going in, as Eternal was able to take down some European guys into Legacy or Legend. And now we are seeing ESF putting the hurt here on Symthic.
Yep. Well done for those guys. They did great.
And right now you are seeing basically the map. This is something that I had always talked about before previously, is that, you know, the middle of the map is going to come down to the team who has the better infantry, and then the outsides of the map is really going to be where your vehicle center teams are going to be flourishing. We saw this a lot in the South American teams, I felt like, and you really can see where, like, the good 5v5 players that would play tins, like when they were playing, you could tell because they always had control of the middle of the map. Like, they were always just dominating right here, and they would very rarely ever move out unless they absolutely had to. They would just kind of hunker down into the middle here and play these tunnels, which is just so nasty to play. I'm sure that you played against a lot of the South Americans. Like you said, you were on a team for a while before you started casting, but I don't know if you can remember it, but playing against South Americans on Zavad, I hated it so bad.
Yeah, ping is a big deal when it comes to infantry play.
So it does look like the artillery is going to be up. Let's see if they're going to be able to get any shots coming in right here onto this A site. Right now, Symthic holding on to these 2 outside flags. They are going to be able to flash over down to C as well. It does look like they have been cleaned up. We do see one player starting to wiggle his way back in. That is going to be, is that CFC? No, that is going to be Cherokee. What was Cherokee, what was he on before Symthic?
PTC.
PTC, that was the team I was trying to think of the other day. there were so many teams that came into existence after I kind of backed out of casting large scale stuff that I hardly ever remember or know of them.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of teams that I went out of my way to remember, but PTC was one of them because they always gave such a great run. Like it was PTC and ESF that would always give Symthic a run for their money, and yeah, I mean they were like the three teams everybody kept their eyes on. There were a lot of great teams, not taken away from any other teams, but when those three would face off against each other, there were always some really close matches to be had.
Excuse me, guys. Oh, that was a little bit rough. But we are going to be seeing right now 3 cap into the favor of ESF. And they're looking to really lock this thing down. Thunder looking pretty good over there here into the middle of the map. Bink going to be trying to come out onto the outside of the map, see if he can do any damage whatsoever. So far, not able to do a whole lot of work. As we stated before, it's pretty difficult if you don't have the infantry advantage into the middle of the map in order to actually do anything. We do have another flank coming in. That's going to be Incarnate and CFC. Immediately, Thunder is going to go ahead and back on up. We'll see if he can actually pick up these guys. We are going to be having the flares being used, as it does help out quite a bit with making sure that they can't use those thermals. At the same time, though, we are going to be seeing DevFlyU doing some work on top of that B flag. He's going to be able to pick up 2 kills. And
yeah, Incarnate's throwing out those flares to cover for his slams, actually. It's a pretty cool strat.
Yeah, I know, I think it's Gump. Gump uses them quite a bit as well when he goes for his little flanks. I've seen him throw them out quite consistently. But, yeah, and that's another thing too. Like, there's a lot of tactics, a lot of things that, or a lot of counters that I think were just, they didn't really, you know, come into play because people banned out a lot of things.
Yep.
And I'm not using the specific one with thermals and flares, but I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of things that DICE put in the game to counter specific things that we never really gave a shot to, just because it was really awkward and weird at first.
Oh yeah, I fully agree with that too. One of the things I always advocated for and shit for, but I would have liked to have seen the Suave unbanned. Like, yeah, I think the Suave is a good tool. It's a balanced tool in my book, because you're locked into using this thing for a while. Like, yeah, it gives you lock-ons, yeah, it can do spotting and stuff like that, but you're locked to doing it at the same time too, and it could just bring the recon class up from obscurity into actually serving a purpose. Lock-ons obviously are
why
not
was it
all
banned?
that great, but lock-ons mostly. I imagine that was the defining reason.
Okay. Because, yeah, I kind of agree with you there. Like, that, it doesn't really seem like it would be that bad of a kit or a piece of kit to use, because you are, like you said, locked into it. It's not like a SoFlame where you could just leave it in one spot and let it just cover an area. Yeah, that is kind of interesting. Iggy, though,
yeah, I always thought the Pokeballs were much worse. Like, much more. What's the word? Egregious.
Egregious.
Yeah.
Only on esportbf.com.